Everybody's all right, right? We're in the land of the living. Huh? Glory to the King. Soon coming, huh? Abba Yahweh, thank you for all things. We need your blessings upon our hearts and our minds. Ruah, have your way. Remind us of who we are, your truth, and let these sayings stay in there, that we'll be able to receive the engrafted word. And he gives us a thankfulness to let us know exactly who we are, and we will serve you, that Gentiles will see and be converted in the magnificent name of Yeshua. Amen. Maybe see this room. All right. We're going to go ahead and get right off into it. Now, I remember, oh boy, when did I go to Atlanta, Kennesaw? 3 years ago? 3, 4 years ago, something like that. And I did a teaching. I'm going to try another way going. Now, tonight, what it's all about is just reminding us a little bit of the two captivities. We've been over this before, but we're going to have to rehearse this so we'll be able to grasp the teachings that are coming forth for the feast days. A lot of times we hear messages. We don't go back and do our homework. We don't study it. That's just the standard operating procedures. Things we used to do in Christianity, sometimes it comes back and it bites us, and we find out that we're not as diligent as we should be. You should try to revisit every one of these messages that we are preaching and teaching to you, the chosen of the Most High Yah, because there's a richness that comes with knowing thyself and knowing who you are. It really, truly is. I cannot stress it enough personally myself. I'm thankful. I understand the meaning now when he says that he has called us out of darkness into his marvelous light. And so I esteem and hold a lot of value to what the Most High is doing, because so many people, a whole lot more intelligent than we are, a whole lot smarter than we are, they figure that they don't have to research, study, pray, fast, and they can get right on by in life and expect to get on into the kingdom. In that case, I think I'm going to stay the way I am. I think I'll just take my chances being a diligent servant of the Most High Yah, living a set-apart life, doing whatever I can to purge my wicked soul from all iniquity, so I can be light for the flight. I'm a simple man. I read what the word says. There are a few things that's in the world, and the scriptures don't speak good about them at all. We are in the age of religion. And of course, religious people would hear me and say, so are you. But we're not in religion, we're in the faith. And it is becoming increasingly more difficult. I had another offer again to come over to Islam. Whatever it is, they detect something in me, and they always have. They always have, since the first time I was filled with the Ruach. They detect something in me that they want me to be a part of it, and this is another whole source of Islam. How is it that these people see something in me, and then the very people who say that they are Israelites, they can't see it themselves? It's something, isn't it? Utterly amazing. I wrote back, I said, I'm not trying to, and I don't mean to insult you. I want to be very honorable and very tactful when I make this response. I'm not trying to say that I'm better than you or anybody else, but I cannot see myself embracing a religion that came 600 years after Christ. why should I do that when the faith that I'm in has been here since the Most High made himself known to Abrim? And of course, that's also the same reason why I cannot see embracing a religion that came on the scene 300 years after Christ.
That's right. Yes, sir. Isn't that the truth?
Makes no difference which one of them come from first, Christianity or Islam. It just does not make sense to me, especially since we're claiming to believe the scriptures when they're so clear. Are you following me? All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started here. History, okay? Try to pay attention, let these sayings sink deep down in your hearts. Remember, we are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood. We're not going to stop people from being religious, because being religious has a certain fuzzy feeling with it. It has a sense of belonging, just like the bingo club or anything else. You understand what I mean? At least you belong. Yeah, at least you do. You understand what I mean? And we're not going to stop people from doing it. Again, we're in a world to where people are defining truth under their own terms. And that truth is best defined by what I choose to agree with. When you make an agreement with something, it becomes truth to you. And the majority of the truths that we've allegedly embraced today, we've never tested them. We never proved them. We never tried them. It just sounded good. And we made an agreement with it because it sounded good. And then we didn't have enough wisdom in us to live it out to see if it really truly is. That's what religious people do. And people are stuck in this rut of religion. It's a superstition. Pretty much so. Know thyself, learn who we are by learning the history of our people. It's a crying shame, literal crying shame, that the book is sitting right here in front of us. And I'm not the most intelligent man in the world by a long shot, whatever you define intelligence by. But the one thing I do esteem very highly is knowing him. And that's all that really truly matters in the grand scheme of things, is knowing him in the beauty of his holiness. But with this great history book sitting right up here, in front of us, it makes no difference what translation you receive. It pretty much saying the same thing with the exception of a few words change here and there. Anybody who can exercise any autonomy whatsoever at all, if they do their diligence, if you do search according to the promises of the King, you will find it, but it's like a treasure. It's hidden. You have to search it out. It has to be more precious than that man who found the pearl of great price. He spent every bit he had in substance in order to obtain it. Just that one pearl. And that's how you have to approach truth, no matter what that truth may be. Approach truth not from what you think you know. Approach it from what you know the book says it knows. While it communicates to us, let it communicate to you. And of course, the problem is the way we approach it. Eisegesis, exegesis. I try to go over that to give us an understanding of why we function certain ways, because it's the way we've been programmed. Now, it's a difficult thing unlearning, because we've never have been taught how to do that. Paul said it clearly that he had unlearned everything that he had learned. He had a philosophy, he had a perspective, a way, a belief system, and it was strong. It was entrenched in him from a little child. And he had to divest himself of all that so that he could learn the Messiah. Like I said a few weeks ago, now we have a great relationship, greater than what the prophets would ever had. At least now we have a Ruah inside of us. And now he's inside of us, and he doesn't receive the same honor as the prophets gave the Most High and his Spirit in the day when they came upon him or he spoke to him. He's personal to us now. And it seems like that we don't have really, truly any drive to really know ourselves. You know, the cares of this world, it can weigh you down. It'll take you off track. Because that's the enemy's playground too. But you, and only you, can wake yourself up out of sleep, just like when he knocked on your door, knocked on your heart. It took you being proactive, speaking from the depths of your soul before he imparted his spirit into you. But he had to know you mean business. Because he already knows he's going to mean business with you. And by the mere fact of him coming is letting you know that that you're his. Has to be a whole lot greater love than what's being shown now. Luke 21:24 says, "They shall fall by the edge of the sword, they shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem be trodden down of the Goyim until the time of the Goyim be fulfilled." And the time of the Goyim are not fulfilled. These people are called Jews. I don't know why I have say in there, but it's in there. Did you try to correct something? You didn't touch it, huh? He pleading the fifth. These people are called Jews. Listen very closely. You've read these before. Let's don't miss it, okay? John 8:33 then answered him, "We be Abraham's seed." Stop for a second. What does that mean, because you're Abraham's seed? I mean, Abraham had a wife named Keturah, and they had seed coming from them too. You follow me? Abraham had Hagar for wife. Seed come from there too. But the promise come through Isaac. Is that right? Now pay attention. They're saying just because they're Abraham's seed, that gives them some type of inside track, basically what they're saying. But here's the real key. Listen to their words. "And were never in bondage to any man." Sitting right there in front of us. Now, there's a lot of Abraham's seed that's never been into bondage to any man.
That's true. Very good.
So they know exactly what they're saying. You don't know what they're saying, because when you read this, you automatically assume, based on the conditioning process of the Western philosophy of Christianity, they've already done tainted our mind, made us think that these people are the people, and so how can we begin to put two and two together or connect the dots? We're already programmed to think a certain way. But just in that one verse right there alone is a mouthful. The only reason why it's a mouthful, you see, if you one of these Gideon type believers, that all you have is the New Testament or the Renewed Covenant, you don't have anything else, you'll never be able to put this together, understand what's going on. We know that the Israelites, our ancient people, because of our rebellion, just like today, our stubbornness and disobedience. Now, believe it or not, I am not in any way, shape, fashion, or form calling you a rebellious people. You know why? Because you've put away idolatry from among you. You actually fall in the same footsteps that took place in Ezra and Nehemiah day. The people that come out of captivity and rebuilding and building. Are you following? So I can't say that you have 1 foot in the kingdoms of this world and then 1 foot in the Most High. You have set yourself apart. You have sanctified yourself. And you have showed by your footprint that you mean business. Because you're following the same ancient footsteps, in the paths of our people who demonstrated by their feet that they've come out of Babylon, or they come out of her, my people. In the renewed covenant, the saying is, "Come out of her, my people." Wherever they were in captivity to, or whatever they were in captivity to then, they had to come out because either the king gave them leave to come out. But not everyone that heard the call wanted to come out. Many enjoyed the pleasures of their captivity because they had assimilated. You know, 100 years, you can easily get 3-4 generations. And so, see, we've already, we understood it clearly what it means to be immersed in idolatry. We put up Christmas trees, mistletoes, rabbits and Easter eggs, and we're all part of this. And we were part of this because we were under the curses. But when we heard his voice, just like we saw in the history book, we obeyed. Yes, and we came out. Does that make sense? Yes, so many people are not coming out. They're choosing to stay in Babylon or Assyria. Okay? When these Jews are saying that we be Abraham's seed, there's a lot of children that come from the loins of Abraham. That was his seed. But that doesn't make them children of the promise. And today, these people who are claiming to be Abraham's seed, who are not the children of the promise, has the whole world deceived that they are the children of the promise. So much so that the greatest military might on the face of planet Earth now, the United States of America, they give them $11 billion a year just for existing. Amazing, isn't it? Yeah, and watch this. And they don't have any connection with Abraham at all. And they freely admit it too. Amazing, isn't it? Look at the devil. Oh, he's something, isn't he? He is something, isn't he? And they never in the bondage of any man, how sayest thou we shall be made free? Well, we know that these people cannot be our ancient people. Because our people experience nothing but captivities because of our rebellion against the Most High. You see, the one thing that we miss more than anything about our rebellion is this. It wasn't that we were denying the Most High in his existence, that he was the Almighty. The problem was coexisting, serving other mighty ones. You know, because they had gods of wealth, gods of prosperity, and they had a God for everything. And if it looked like it worked for the heathen, we became envious and we'd go over there and want some of whatever they had, feeling like that the Most High is shortchanging us. If they were the people of this book, there's no way this statement could be made. We were there in the Egyptian, the Assyrian, the Babylonian, the Medes and the Persian, and I can't even read that one, the Arab captivity, the Greek and the Roman captivity, the European captivity, the American captivity, and after this captivity, the Lion of the tribe of Judah is coming back for his people. Because the Bible in the renewed covenant doesn't prophesy of another nation rising up. Is that making sense? Yes, sir. The Gentiles are ruling the earth today. And y'all getting this statement, right? Yes, see how previous studies make sense now? Yes, I don't care how much they tell you China's going to rule the whole world. No. How can they? They just as broke as we are. Acts 26:6. And now I stand and am a judge for the hope of the promise made of Yah unto our fathers. Unto which promise, watch this, listen to the speech real close, our 12 tribes instantly serving Yah. Y'all hear that? Look at this. He says, for this hope, is that right? The promise made of Yah unto our fathers. Pay attention. Unto which promise are what? 12 tribes instantly serving Yah. Day and what? Hope to come. Watch this. For which hope's sake, King Agrippa, I am accused of the what? Again, making a distinction, this is another people.
That's right. That's right.
It's all in there. But see, when you have a certain lens on your eyes, a pair of glasses has been given to you and told you to look out these lenses, your vision is impaired. Hard to see it. But it's so clear, especially when it's brought to our attention. Why is he making a distinction? And then he's talking about who he's accused of. The house of Israel capital was Samaria. The house of Judah capital was Jerusalem. And here's the map. This is what was called the northern. This is called the southern. And over in here was Edom. Okay? And of course, this is where people believed that Mount Sinai was. But the Bible said there was Mount Sinai, which was in Arabia.
That's right. That's right. Yes, sir.
See what happens? Oh, this ain't hard. It means a lot. It really truly is, because when you know yourself, it's hard to be deceived when you're filled with this knowledge. Samaritan prophets of Baal. Fact, when Ezra and Nehemiah returned from Babylon to rebuild the temple, these Samaritan false prophets were ruling. The misconception, these Jews, known today as Jews, were a mongrel, Canaanite, half-breed branch of Judah. Now we'll put that together when we go over Kezeba and Achziba. All right? These prove that they were only a small group of people. You hear that? According to Bible prophecy, there's no way that these are Yahweh's chosen people. If y'all notice, y'all have never seen these things on me. And you know how many people I've had over the years challenging me why come I'm not wearing these repelling ropes? And the only thing I would say to them is this: instead of you asking me why come I'm not wearing them, how about you look at me and then try to figure out for yourself why I'm not wearing them? That making sense?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So what we do is we follow whatever this nation does, and I'm waiting for them to put these things on. You know what that is, right? That's an imitation of a black person's lock. And that cat right there, he belonged on Black Belt Theater. That's a weird looking group. And you watch all these people believe they're so righteous following whatever this was. 2 Kings 18:11. And the king of Assyria did carry away. Who did the king of Assyria carry away? He carried away Israel unto Assyria and put them in Halah and Hobah and by the river Gozan and in the cities of the Medes. Now this took place from 745 to 721 BC. Israel was taken into the Assyrian captivity. This is probably the greatest captivity there was. But today we've been conditioned Babylon captivity, Babylon. You follow me? The Assyrians moved settlers. Once the Israelites was taken captivity out into their land, the Assyrians moved settlers from other areas to live in the vacant cities. All right? So what happened was that when the Assyrians took captivity, all these cities of Israel right here, what they did was start moving in all these other people, and they start squatting in the land. 2 Kings 17:24, and the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, and from Cuthah, and from Havah, and from Hamath, and from Saphraim. Isn't that amazing? That name is there. And placed them in the cities of what? Instead of the children of Israel. And they possessed Samaria and dwelled there in the cities thereof. Man, I got to move it up, don't I? 17:25. And so it was in the beginning of their dwelling that they feared not Yahweh. Therefore Yahweh sent lions among them, which slew them because they knew not the Yah of the land. Now what happened was is that once these people end up coming into the land. Our land at that time had a certain mannerism. Yahweh, our Elohim, was the God of that land. Just like other lands had mighty ones that occupied the land. And so they thought that they could just, that's why we got kicked out, because we would not honor the Most High who gave us the land. And so they thought that they could come on in with their pagan ways and doing just whatever they want. And so the animals who know how to obey Elohim, they kept their bellies full. They just started eating pagans. And then, wherefore they spake to the king of Israel, saying, the nations which thou hast removed and placed in the cities of Samaria know not the manner of the Elohim of the land. Now you need to ask yourself, why come y'all ain't sending no lions to eat us up over here? I mean, bears don't even eat us up. You have isolated attacks because it's not his land. Therefore he has sent lions among them, and behold, they slay them, because they know not the manner of the Elohim of the land. And then the king of Assyria commanded, saying, carry thither one of the priests, look at this, whom you bought from thence. Seems like every time you turn around, we always have a Balaam somewhere, don't we? And let them go dwell there, and let them teach the manner of Elohim in the land. You ever notice this land don't want to know the manner of Elohim? And they feared Yahweh, and served their own mighty ones, after the manner of the nations, whom they carried away thence. So, the people were so wicked that they did not even fear their own gods. Unto this day, to do after the former manners, they feared not Yahweh, neither do they after the statutes, or after the ordinance, or after the law or commandment which Yahweh commanded the children of Jacob, whom he named Israel. That's some rebellion now, isn't it? So the nations feared Yahweh and served their what? Meaning that, okay, we know we're going to be here, so what we're going to do is we're going to obey some of the laws in order to keep these lions off of us. And serve their graven enemies, both their children. Why? Because they're going to teach their children. And their children. Look at our children today. We've been immersed in paganism. We all was nothing but Satanists. And now we're trying to teach them the Elohim of Israel, and they don't want it. They want to go be like the other nations. They want to go have fun. Here we are coming from that mess, and they got the attitude, well, let me have my own experience. That is a dumbass.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Say it. That's right.
I mean, if we make a bonfire and decide we all just going to jump in it, you going to jump in it too? Some of you so stupid you might do it. Oh boy. So the nations feared Yahweh, so the graven enemies, both their children and their children's children, as did their fathers, so do they to this day. Why? Because the fathers is the head of the house, they're going to teach them. So in Jeremiah 600 BC, 23:13, I have seen the folly of the prophets of Samaria. They prophesy in Baal and caused my people Israel to err. That was that priest that also taught these people down here how to serve Elohim. But they were serving their other gods, the other mighty ones. So this is where the Talmud came in and the Kabbalah came in. They started, it's the same thing that has happened again and again and again in history, just nothing repeats itself. You see, the Roman Catholic Church hijacked our faith. And they were being political. They had a bunch of pagans in the land. So they wanted to immerse what they called this Christianity or this Constantine doctrine. They wanted to immerse that, what they learned from the Israelites, into paganism and fuse it all together. That's the same thing that was going on back then. Same thing going on today. Nothing new under the sun. Now you got all this mysticism. The Kabbalah, all this Eastern mysticism and stuff. So these people called Jews or Jews today, they don't care nothing about the Torah. Their books is the Talmud and the Kabbalah. Making sense?
Yes.
Approximately 714 BC, 7 years after the house of Israel went into Syrian captivity or slavery, it was 200,000, 150 of the house of Judah that went into, look, the Assyrian captivity. 14,600 of the remnant went into the Babylonian captivity that remained. All right, these are facts right here. Many people embrace the Jewish religion today, including these people who call themselves Messianics. They're nothing but Jewish, or you can put whatever name you want to on it. They're just like the Christians. They swear up and down they ain't Catholics, but watch them. They obey everything that they say do. They do everything that they do. Am I making sense? That's the reason why it's important. You know, the Most High does have men of Yah all over the place, but they're just few. And remember, his remnant is just a few to get us out of all this mess. This making sense?
Yes, sir.
He's done a mighty thing to try to get you up out of this mess. So many people embrace the Jewish religion, but this does not make them a Hebrew or an Israelite. And now they're getting to the point that people are putting so much stock in genealogy and fleshly bloodlines and stuff that they are actually glad to say that they are not Israelites. That's why they call themselves Messianics. Or they come up with new names, Hebrew roots. In other words, we'll follow that Elohim, but we're going to still keep our own religion, traditions, and our mighty ones. Y'all getting this? The word Jews and Israelites are not to be used interchangeably. Listen very closely. People would tell you clearly who they are. All right? 14,600 taken into the Babylonian captivity, 200,150 was taken from the house of Judah into the Assyrian captivity. Now, 100 years after the Assyrians, Judah was taken in captivity to slavery into Babylon. 2 Kings 24:14 says, and he carried away Jerusalem and all the princes and mighty ones of valor, even 10,000 captives and craftsmen and smiths. None remained save the poorest sorts of people of the land. I mean, if you're going to sack a place, you want to take the people who know how to do something. To advance your civilization. Is that making sense? That's what they were doing. And they left the poor people. You know, you people who ain't got no skills. All you know how to do is take a shovel and dig it in the ground, throw dirt. See, they definitely take Brother James into captivity. You know too much. You got to go. But when they take him, it wouldn't be the kind of slavery we thinking like these Gentiles did to us over here in this land called Azarah that's been renamed America. They take him and give him a position. Yeah, he would, so he could teach other people trades and stuff, because he's invested in himself. They take Elder Duggan, they got to take him into captivity. You got to have somebody who's got this mechanical, analytical type mind to do stuff. They leave me in the land because I can't do nothing. They leave me out with all the rest of the dum-dums. That's what I do. They say, look at this poor man, you stay here. That's what they do. And when that happened, you've already taken away the power and the might from us as a nation. And we had no power no more. And the Assyrians then moved settlers from Samaria into the other areas, into the vacant cities. We keep repeating this. 2 Kings 17:24, and the king of Syria bought men from Babylon, Kutan, because we've been over this instead of the children of Israel. We went over that again. Now, not all Jerusalem were taken to Babylon. Some were left in the land. Jeremiah speaks to this. This is what we need to visit. Jeremiah 52:16. But Nebuchadnezzar, the captain of the guard, left certain of the poor of the land for vine dressers and for husbandmen. This is how the religion of Judaism came into play. They changed the name of those who lived in Jerusalem, which was the house of Judah, to his new name, Judea. And after the Israelites were taken into the Assyrian captivity, and from that time forth, all the other nations came into live into that land. And when they came to live into that land, the land was vacated by conquest. When this happened, squatters came into the land by nomadic races of people from the bloodline of Esau, because Edom was just adjacent to Judah. It was right there. And it was like, hey, look at here, we get to expand our territories and read. We can go. Ain't no problem now. What kind of resistance are Israel going to put up? You got the poor people of the land. The Samaritans and the Canaanites assimilated everyone who came into this land and into their society. Just like we've all been assimilated into America. A melting pot. And we run around hollering and singing. We're proud to be in Americans and don't know what we're saying. The powers that be have dealt wisely with us. The word Jew. Was the word applied only to those persons living in the land of Israel, which was replaced by the geographical area now called Judea. The word Jew was later associated with those people living in or outside of the land of Judea, regardless of nationality, who practiced Judaism. See, Judaism came into play when that priest came down to teach them the manner of the Elohim of the land, and then they end up raising up all these other pagans and stuff. Because if you're only going to send one or two priests, you got all these other people. They got priests in their temple and everything. They're going to take whatever they want, but then they're going to keep their religion. That's what the book was telling us. And that's how Judaism came into play. And that's how Edom ended up over there. And then later on, he put the dots together when Rome came in and sacked him and stuff, and Herod was an Edomite and stuff. He's going to go ahead and assimilate into the land because, I mean, after all, this power will come in, he's going to capitulate. He don't want to die. You get to make me a governor too? Man. You getting it? You understand? And mind you, all that's left in Israel is us poor folk who can't talk. Can you talk, Brother Rick? I mean, I'm talking about us who don't have that eloquent language. Not really? See, you be there with me then. And all this is going on, and we be looking around, what's happening? What's going on? And we wouldn't even know how to serve the Most High because the people who were supposed to teach us, they gone. They done took the priests. They took the priests, took the warriors, killed the warriors, whatever, and they left us dum-dums in the land. We don't know nothing. We can't even read. Y'all see history repeating itself over and over and over again?
Yes, sir.
Huh? That's why y'all ever heard me make this statement right here. The worst thing y'all could have done is teach me how to read and write. They thought that after being in that public food system all them years and stuff that I was going to stay in that same condition. You getting that? They thought you was going to stay in that same condition too. But the Most High had something else planned for us. Understanding. Very important to know, and I cannot emphasize it enough, the house of Israel, 10 tribes. And of course, that would be the majority. Of the house of Judah, 2 tribes went into Assyrian captivity and not into the Babylonian captivity. Everything you hear today, Babylon, 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 Assyria, that's the one where the majority of the people went. Now, of course, they're in the Assyrian captivity. It ain't going to be too hard for these Israelites that has been immersed into that culture north to end up in the provinces that later on Rome end up controlling. See how we scattered as the sands of the sea now? You see it? And even some people from Judah are there as well. You getting this? So when he said they're going to be scattered as the sand of the sea, don't y'all fall for that stupid 12 tribe chart that the Israelites only in the Western Hemisphere. First century historian Josephus, who actually has, I guess, what we would call a reliable, credible name. Jews. So the Jews prepared for the work. That is, the name they are called from the day that they came from Babylon, which is taken from the tribe of Judah, which came first to these places, and thence both they and their country gained this appellation, or meaning this act of naming. That's what they named them, because they simply just lived there. George Lamsa, Old Testament Life, page 80. After the destruction of the first temple and the Babylonian captivity, the remnant of the people who were left in Palestine were known as what? So now you still have a bloodline there. And what's going to happen when you bring all these people from Babylon and Qatar and Hava and Sephardim, and you're going to mix. And the more you mix, the more you water it down. You get it? And you got the dumb people in the land, they don't know what to believe. They kind of did this Christianity thing like you did. You go to church and this man tell you everything, and you and you gave your little tithe, and you walk around out the door and you checked in and thought you done something. See how dumb you were? Nothing new under the sun. Somebody said, what are you talking about? What about you? I already know. I the first one called how dumb I was. That's why I'm so offended. See, same thing again. We didn't read all that, did we? So the remnant of the people in Palestine who left, it was known as Jews. Continue on. That's because political Israel had come to an end. And now the people were known by their faith. They were called Jews simply because the center of worship was in Judea. The tribes, the majority of them, scattered. Therefore, the term Jew is solely religious. And that's it. Anyone who embraces, religion's basically superstitious. Anyone who embraces the Jewish faith can be called a Jew, but no, it's the Jewish what? Can be called a Jew, but he cannot be called an Israelite or a Hebrew. Emphasis added. So you watch out for all these people that want to be everything but what this book says. Yes, white people, Japanese, Chinese, blacks of all different hues can become an Israelite. We know that by reading Esther 8:17. After that king gave them the ability to be able to fight, and many people of the land became Yehudims. You should be glad that you ain't a Christian no more. You should be happy. When you see him, you're going to thank him. Really? Have you ever really thought about what it's going to be like when you look up and you are actually in the kingdom? Right now you be like, oh man, gee man, look like all hope gone, man, I'm not going to make it here. But actually to be there when you, yeah, you're going to be speechless, all right. I'm looking for my place of rulership. First thing I'm looking for is I'm looking for me a hammock. Somebody to stomp my grapes. You think I'm kidding? I'm going to take rulership real good. I'm going to be a just ruler too. You can only stomp them grapes about 3-4 hours, then you can come take a break. This is foreign. This is a foreign concept even to the Messianics, who's supposed to be, the step up from Christianity. I mean, if we're going to be ruling for 1,000 years, we got to be ruling over something and somebody. You got that right. Lord to the King. I tell you, the more I think about it, the happier I get. The remnant in the book of Nehemiah referred to themselves as Judah. Notice, when you read that, that's what they'll tell you what they are. They didn't say they were Jews. It's kind of like in the renewed covenant, you get confused. What Gentiles are they talking about? One minute, the Israelites are the Gentiles, according to their penmanship. Next minute, it's talking about the Goyans. But which one is it? Well, these translators, you gotta understand, they were probably under duress. You understand? They were probably under duress when they were translating. But it sure did work for a time. Now knowledge is increased. Isn't that beautiful? Knowledge is increasing. Now we know who we are. Beautiful thing, huh? It's a beautiful thing. It's always making sense. Called themselves Judah and Benjamin. Judea, the people of the land then became known as Jews simply because they lived in the land of Judea. I keep rehearsing this again. Transplants by the authority of the king of Persia. None of these people were Israelites. That means they are not the children of promise. First century historian Josephus, Antiquities of the Jews, 3795 AD, let's grasp the understanding of the word Jew from this period of time rather than what our 21st century theologians tell us. Now, what we're going to do, you're going to have to write that down. Book 11, chapter 5, 7, paragraph 173. Now, I'm sure most people don't even know how to use the book of Josephus. And you will find the information right there because it was long. I didn't want to go over the whole entire thing, if you understand what I mean, because we don't have it's long. So make sure you remember that, okay? Y'all got it? And we're going to stop right there because we don't want to give too much. The scripture study, all right? We don't want to overload you. It should have made it a little bit more easier from 3 years ago. Because 3 years ago, I had people look at me like, and I'm saying, these people ain't getting this. I kept trekking. Then I went to Houston and did the same thing. I'm like, man, these people are not getting this. It just ain't penetrating. Yeah. And it is. I'm not saying it's rough. It's rough, but we have to begin at better sheet and then walk it up to get the comprehension. And of course, it's all for the purpose of you knowing who you are and what Yah has done. Remember, regardless of what people say, and that's the reason why there's such emphasis placed on not receiving the Holy Spirit today. See, religion can move you away from the Father. And religion will never agree with what the Spirit is doing. And remember, the Most High Yah know them that are His. That's why I put emphasis on, have you received the Holy Spirit since you believe? You can't add to that. That's over in the book of Acts 19. It's the very same question he asked him. He didn't ask, what camp are you, man? Or like them little bitty guys sitting up there. He didn't ask, what camp are you? You want to know if you received the Holy Spirit. That always worked for me. I ask people when I baptize, man, you receive the Holy Spirit? Some say yes, some say no. I say, good, you're going to get it, though. You're going to work on it because you can be baptized and then pray for the Holy Spirit. Or you can receive the Holy Spirit and be baptized. It's both ways in the book. So if you stick with the book, you can't go wrong. And that's the reason why we need pastors that everybody wants to do away with. Y'all said He's going to give them to us, and then they say, we don't need number elders. Isn't that amazing? Elders are an appointed office by the men of Yah. And you know what the prerequisite is? You look out among you. Same thing it is for diakonos. See if we can find men of honest report, full of the... Does that make sense? Why? Because it tells us open in the writings. And he gave some apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, and teachers. And all that's for the work of the ministry. And we all are a unit fitly joined together. So you can tell just by listening to me, I know a little bit. Now, it may not be much, but it's a little bit. It's enough to keep you confused. And don't you blame it on y'all either. Because he ain't all the confusion. You just got a bunch of stuff in front of you. That's right. I'm blame shifting, putting forth the finger on you, Israel. I am clean of the hands of all men. And these people don't understand my speech. Let us stand. Y'all, we do thank you for these truths. Pray these sins sink deep down our hearts in the magnificent name of Yahshua. Amen. King coming.